up, Sauce Gang, and welcome back to the channel. Hot Sauce Beats here with another FNAF reaction for you, but this time it's different because it's a FNAF theory over on Film Theory's channel. That is right, because MatPat at Film Theory just dropped I Solved the FNAF movie. Now, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but the FNAF movie is coming out, I think, October 27th. It's right around the corner, and I think I'm gonna be doing a watch party live here on YouTube with you guys, because it's also on Peacock, so we can watch it the day drops. But I'm really hyped to see what MatPat's gonna say. But before we jump into this, why don't you show MatPat at Film Theory some love by subscribing to his channel? And if you enjoy my reaction, please smash that subscribe button because it greatly helps. But enough talking, let's get to reacting and roll that bomb ass intro.
Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Hot Sauce Beats is finally here. Eat, sleep, make beats. Eat, sleep, make beats.
Hot Sauce Beats. Woo, woo. Ooh, what you got, MatPat? What you got?
It's been so many years.
400 years.
Long have I waited.
Oh, to do
Finally,
a theory on Film Theory.
It's my turn.
Let's go, it's Film Theory, baby!
Hello, Internet.
Welcome to Film Theory.
The show that always knew that this day was coming.
Oh,
It's
it's
been
here.
over 8 years, but finally, the Five Nights at Freddy's live-action
October
feature film is
27th,
set
yep.
to hit the silver screen in a little over a month. And you know what that means. It means
Halloween
that
weekend,
nowhere
baby.
is safe anymore from FNAF theories. Don't believe me? There's a FNAF cookbook releasing in October. A FNAF cookbook. It's coming for you next, Food Theory.
Oh,
No, we need is
maybe
a
we'll
FNAF
do
fashion
a
line
cooking
that's
vlog.
infected all of us. Oh, my sweet stars, what have I done?
Sweet
But for as
baby
satisfying
Jesus.
as it is for Film Theory to take another toy out of the toy box of Game Theory and claim it as our own, see also Sonic, Mario, and Last of Us in this year alone, in all seriousness, we are way overdue for a theory breaking
That's
down
an
our
understatement.
predictions for this movie. And believe me, there is plenty to talk about. If you're on YouTube and you somehow missed the phenomenon
two
that is
trailers.
Five Nights at Freddy's, how? Like, genuinely, how? I need to know your secrets. This series
I mean, that was me up until a little over a year ago. I mean, I'd never seen anything FNAF related. I knew of it, but I'd never seen any of it.
exploded
I
about
was
a
there.
decade ago, with every Let's Player on the platform screaming their heads off over the haunted animatronics hunting us down in the ruins of a dilapidated
PewDiePie jumped out of
pizzeria.
his
But while the
seat,
scares
bruh.
certainly got us started, it's the story that's kept us going. What's helped the series persist for as long as it has been its incredibly mysterious story told through scraps of information and obscure environmental
And
details.
its fandom.
Heck, 60 episodes later on Game Theory,
Dude,
we are still
60.
trying to decode
We're
this
about
thing.
halfway through them all,
Has
chat.
it been 60? Feels like there gotta be 100 at this point. And this new FNAF movie seems to be staying true to the franchise's roots, not in terms of the lore necessarily, but in terms of the cryptic storytelling. There is a ton of information packed into the few short
much.
minutes of trailer footage that we've seen so far. Enough that I believe we can predict the entire plot of this new
And I've reacted to both of the trailers as well. So if you guys haven't seen that, it'll be in the comments, in the description.
movie, right down to the shocking twist ending that's gonna leave you devastated. Here's a hint. If you think this movie has itself a happy ending with everyone smiling and living happily ever after, then clearly you have not been paying
There ain't
attention.
no happy
So
ending in
today,
FNAF.
Film Theory does
Stop
what
it.
Game Theory's never been able to do. Solve this franchise.
Cap.
And we're gonna do it before the
Cap.
movie even releases. Keep your eyes on your monitors, loyal theorists. We're going in. So I think a good place to start with our prediction here is sort of laying out what we think the movie's trying to do with FNAF as a franchise. Just from watching these trailers, I think it's clear that this movie does not take place in the universe of the games. Why? This thing. I have played, watched, and read every last scrap of information this franchise has put out, and this is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Well, that is the mask. We've seen, there's a picture, I don't know if I saw it on Twitter, but you see it from further out. That is a mask. And I think it's Freddy's mask.
Clearly, it's a murder weapon, and
Again, there's the eyes. So it just, you're seeing the inside of the mask, and it's, yeah, got those spinning blades.
clearly it was made by the franchise's big bad, but why, what, and how is still a complete mystery. My best guess, and again, this one's a guess, is that it's a remnant extractor, a way to ensure murder victims have the most traumatic, awful death possible,
I mean,
so
if-
the agony they experience
on
can
the
be
mask,
harvested
yeah.
to help create creatures with eternal life. If none of that meant anything to you, strap in, El Chippo. You're in for a crash course. By the end of this thing, you're gonna be talking about Fazgoo with the confidence of a pro. Looking at the trailers and IMDb, we know that this is gonna be the story of Mike Schmidt, the security security guard from FNAF 1, but things are different this time around. Well, this certainly appears to take place in the 1990s like the original FNAF game, considering everyone's using old school wired telephones, there are no modern cars, and all the monitors are old CRTs. They're also bringing in characters who clearly reference later parts of the franchise, specifically Vanessa from Security Breach, a blonde security guard in the game who here appears as a blonde police officer. What I think's going on here from a meta perspective is that the movie's taken a bunch of stories from the game franchise and simplifying them for a general film audience while trying to keep the most iconic aspects of the games intact. Plus, they're going to be combining ideas and characters from different eras of the franchise to get as many recognizable aspects of FNAF into one film as possible. That's why we see the story from the original FNAF interacting with someone new from Security Breach, and then you have a girl named Abby mixed in there whose name is literally an anagram of baby, all fighting against an unbroken version of Springtrap. That right there, that is the filmmakers trying to bridge the gap between the different eras of FNAF and bring in as many fans as they can.
You guys remember when I reacted to the second trailer and I called him Golden Freddy? I remember it.
The OGs from 2014, the new fans from Security Breach, and also your average Joes who can't tell a Fred Bear from a Ned Bear, let alone a glam rock from a rock star. Oh, you have so much to learn. So all in all, think of this movie as something that's gonna wipe the slate clean and start fresh, referencing moments and key characters from the games and books, but not being beholden to them, because, you know, that's not a confusing route to go at all. That said, let's just hope they don't stray too far from the games. Case in point, this detail right here. During a spoopy, scary moment in the trailer, Nebraska is spelled out very clearly on a poster in very large...
Hey! That's where I'm from! Nebraska, the good life!
Very bold letters right next to the main character's head. This was an intentional decision definitely put into the trailers to keep us talking. This means something. Now, the general consensus is that the FNAF games normally take place in Utah. Multiple spin-off book series have made that detail quite clear. Could it be then that they've moved the setting to Nebraska for some reason? Maybe, but I don't think so.
Home of the good life!
It's weird to just have a state poster of the state that you're currently in right above your security desk. My guess is that this poster was put here intentionally by Mike. It's important to him for some reason. My best guess is that it's hashtag goals, an aspirational place to go to help him get out of his current situation. Because on the face of it, things don't seem to be going all that great.
To move here, baby.
Looks to me like Mike and his family have fallen on some hard times. First off, we don't see his parents in these trailers at all. Though Mike's father has been cast, I'm gonna guess that he's only here for a flashback scene, considering he doesn't look too much older than Mike's actor Josh Hutcherson. Additionally, we see that Mike and his little sister Abby are living in a small house with an average car, and Mike is looking for any job that he can get.
I was just calling to see if that job that you offered was still available. I will take anything.
We later see Mike bring in Abby along with him while he's working, implying that this is probably their only option. They can't afford a babysitter, and if there were parents at home to take care of Abby, why would he be bringing her to his night shift job? So Nebraska might be a symbolic place of freedom for Mike, a place to escape and finally be free. More or less, though, I believe that the setup for the backstory of the FNAF movie is going to align with that of the first game. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria was a popular arcade and food chain represented by its 4 iconic mascots:
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
However, they're not the only ones here. It seems that some of the children encountered another animatronic, a large yellow bunny rabbit that's separate from the other 4, as we see in a drawing here on the wall from this shot. This was a costume used by the owner of the establishment, William Afton, an outfit that he would use to get closer to the kids, which honestly is creepier in a movie than it was in the games. You know, just your typical yellow bunny friend holding hands with 5 kids, which, when you're talking in horror movie speak, is code for he killed those kids, stuffed them into suits, and eventually turned them into haunted robots. Also, just to call it out here, I originally thought that there was going to be something hidden in this wall of drawings beyond just the obvious. I mean, it is the perfect spot to sneak in little bits of hidden lore, but the more that we've seen of the wall in other trailers, there doesn't actually seem to be that much of anything here, sadly, and honestly surprisingly considering the franchise we're talking about. Speaking of Yellow Bunnyman, the trailers seem determined to convince us that the person we expected to play the franchise's big bad isn't actually playing the villain. Despite rumors that he would be playing our resident Urple murder man William Afton, in the trailers Lillard's character is clearly labeled as Steve Raglan, career counselor. But here's the rub. If there's one thing we've learned here on film theory over the past decade, it's that trailers can be manipulated to create mystery or confuse
And he could be playing as a, that's a fake name.
See also Morbius and Infinity War, just to name 2 key examples. And here, I think we're being presented with the exact same sort of misdirect. In fact, I'm almost 100% confident that I can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. First, Matthew Lillard confirmed that he signed a 3-picture deal to star in more than one FNAF movie. And unless Steve Raglan's a new character that Blumhouse is just really hype about, I expect that deal was to play Afton. However, far more convincingly, we have this scene from the trailer where a young boy is seen getting kidnapped in the middle of the woods. Based on the film's official website, the synopsis reads that Mike is still, quote, haunted by the unsolved disappearance of his younger brother more than a decade before.
Oh.
And we know, based on casting, that the brother's name is Garrett. Now, the actor playing this kid Garrett is named Lucas Grant. Hopping over to Instagram, Grant commented on a post by Matthew Lillard saying that it was great to work with him and that he's much nicer than his character. Now tell me, why would a young actor playing a kidnapped
we
boy
diving
have any
deep in that
reason to
lore,
interact with
baby.
a career counselor? He
What?
wouldn't. The only way they interact is if Matthew Lillard, Steve
Had a
Raglan,
scene
William
with him.
Afton, call him whatever you want, was kidnapping that kid. In other words, in this movie, a big final reveal will be that Matthew Lillard kidnapped Mike's brother. This would actually parallel some key moments from the original novel, where William Afton acts under a pseudonym, Dave Miller, and has the perfectly normal mundane job of security guard for an old abandoned mall, a job that allows him to supervise the comings and goings around Freddy's. That way, when kids start poking around, he's able to hop into the suit, get it, hop, because he's a rabbit, hop into the suit and try to scare him away, just like we see him doing here. And lastly, in the novels, he also kidnaps a kid prior to becoming a crazed serial killer. Honestly, a lot of the details here line up. Now, before we start jumping from video to keep tabs on Freddy and the gang with more plot predictions, let's take a moment to thank a service that I bet Mike wishes he had. Our sponsor for this portion of today's video, Google Meet. Gotta be honest with you guys,
Google
when
Meet,
Google
baby.
reached out to us wanting to partner to talk about their video calling app, Google Meet, I was definitely
Google
surprised.
hamburgers.
Weird theories about spooky movies? Yeah,
Google
that is
hamburgers,
what's
baby.
going on in Five Nights at Freddy's.
Google
so really,
burgers.
when we look at a lot of the clues coming from these trailers, the story is largely what you'd expect. There's a string of children disappearing from the pizzeria, resulting in Freddy Fazbear's shutting down. Judging from both the kids drawing on the wall and this shot from the trailer, looks like Afton killed 5 children, as we'd expect from the lore of the first game. Our favorite bunny-themed serial killer hid the bodies of the kids inside the animatronic suits, and in so doing trapped their souls inside the robots forever. And we know that they're sticking with that specific part of the lore based on the jump scare here. It is so good every time I see it. Children's hands popping out of animatronic mouths. Not only is it terrifying, it tells us that he definitely hid the bodies inside there. But now recently, people have been poking around the old abandoned pizzeria. As we see in the most recent trailer, some small-time criminals break in, intent on robbing the place and trashing it up for fun.
Quarters.
I believe that sequence is probably going to be the beginning of the film. These characters breaking in before they're met with a terrible fate. The possessed animatronics come to life and kill them as they're mid-crime, not only showing the audience early on that these things are terrifying, but also creating a giant problem for Afton, who now risks having more people poking around his old murder den. Hoping to prevent future break-ins and deeply uncomfortable questions about his past, Afton decides to hire a security guard to keep an eye on the place during the night. His first option doesn't exactly work out all that well, but not to be deterred, our plucky mass murderer tries and tries again to find someone who'll keep the building safe. Enter our main character of the movie, Mike Schmidt. Mike will do anything for cash. Based on these 2 shots from the first trailer here, we know that Mike has a history of working as a security guard, but likely he got carried away in a previous role, resulting in him getting fired. Desperate for cash and with no one willing to hire him, Mike takes a job as the night shift security guard at Freddy Fazbear's, bringing his sister Abby with him. Seems like things aren't too strange starting off. Though it's certainly creepy, they explore the pizzeria without much of an issue, until of course there's a knock at the front door. Mike goes out and meets Vanessa, a police officer with a strange interest in the building. In fact, she seems to know a lot about Freddy's.
So again, my prediction, I think that Vanessa is good, and I think her sister or a sibling, so sister or brother, is one of the 5 original kids that got murdered. And she became a cop, saying she's gonna forever protect other people from this place and solve her sibling's murder.
In the 80s, kids went missing. The police searched Freddy's top to bottom. They never found them. That's why the place shut down.
Looks like somebody watched our complete timeline. Soon, as creepy occurrences start happening all across the pizzeria, Mike realizes what he's gotten himself into.
There are ghost children possessing giant robots. Thanks for the heads up.
And here's where the stakes get higher. Obviously, the animatronics are going to pose a danger to both Mike and Vanessa, but their well-being isn't going to be the only thing on the line during this movie. Throughout the trailers, we see shots of Abby going off to explore the pizzeria alone and ultimately hiding from Foxy in the ball pit. Let's just hope that she doesn't time travel. In all seriousness though, somehow Abby will befriend the animatronics, especially the leader, Golden Fredbear, a character that you'll notice never appears anywhere except for in shots with her. Why does she befriend them? Or rather, why do the animatronics choose to befriend Abby? Well,
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
Yep, the animatronics want to add another member to their ranks, and that is going to be the big driving factor for this movie. Mike and Vanessa are going to rush to try to solve the mystery of the kids' disappearance and put their spirits to rest, hopefully with plenty of time to save Abby. The scenes where we see Mike interacting with the kids outside the pizzeria, I believe that this is where Mike is trying to put the pieces together and is speaking to the spirits in something like his dreams. Of course, William Afton does not want this to happen and has to get himself physically involved, disguising himself in his old Springtrap costume and chasing Mike and Vanessa around in an attempt to silence them in the big scary action set pieces. Afton will likely capture and injure Vanessa at some point, considering that we see a yellow rabbit hand grabbing Vanessa's neck here and Mike sitting by Vanessa in the hospital looking concerned. So that's the main setup for what I see happening in the movie, but what about the big twist? There's always got to be some sort of a big twist in FNAF. Well, I believe
Mike, I'm your father.
that it comes with the identity of some of the spirits.
I'm
You
your
see, we
father.
actually get a pretty good idea of which spirits possess which animatronic bodies from this shot in the trailers. It's pretty obviously telegraphed. Bunny ear kid is Bonnie, redhead with pirate claw is Foxy, the girl wearing all yellow is Chica, and the boy with the top hat is Freddy. As for the last kid though, well, the obvious thought was that he was going to become the mysterious Golden Freddy. I think that's what I and everyone else assumed when we saw that first trailer. But now, I'm not so sure.
Oh,
The fact
Mike's
that this
brother.
fifth child in the shot doesn't have a characteristic explicitly linking him to an animatronic has to be intentional, and I believe that it was the filmmakers keeping things ambiguous so we wouldn't guess their twist. I suspect that the fifth kid here isn't Golden Freddy. Instead, I think it might be the Cupcake. Yeah, I know, I get it. It sounds ridiculous, but hear me out on this one. In the latest trailer, we clearly see Cupcake moving around independently and attacking someone without Chica's help.
In
My
their
initial gut
face.
thought to this? Well, that's kind of stupid, to be honest. Like, does Chica's soul transfer down into the Cupcake alone for remote attacks, leaving Chica soulless for a while now? Or can a spirit divide itself and act on different parts of the
all the
character
same.
at different
It's
times?
like
You know
it's
what?
hand.
I'm not sure. I don't have a good answer for it, but I do think that this would open up an incredibly dark and compelling twist on Golden Freddy. Remember, these 5 kids who disappeared at Freddy Fazbear's in the shot aren't the only kids that have gone missing in this story. We still have ourselves Mike's missing brother Garrett, who we talked about earlier as the kid in the back of the car, likely being carted away by old Billy Afton up in front. I mean, in this franchise, it would be shocking if someone kidnapping a child wasn't William Afton. Anyway, why do I think that this is actually the moment that we see Mike's brother get kidnapped? Well, again, we turn to actor Lucas Grant and Instagram, where we see this post of him hanging out with another child actor named Wyatt Parker. Parker even calls Grant his best bro, an interesting choice of words considering that Parker was cast in the film as young Mike. 2 twin brothers, one who gets kidnapped.
Bro,
Almost
look
a
at all
one-for-one
these leaks on
replica of what we
Twitter.
see happen in the Silver Eyes novel.
Look
So
at
let
all
me
these
ask you,
leaks
what if
on
Mike's
Twitter?
brother is Golden Freddy, separate from the tragedy at the pizzeria? We can assume that Mike's brother was kidnapped in one of the earlier parts of the timeline, a time when Golden Freddy would still be in use. And in the games, we've long theorized that Mike Schmidt is in fact Mike Afton, son of William Afton. This would also mean that his little brother was the crying child who was killed and became one of the spirits that possessed Golden Freddy. Given the fact that Mike's father's been cast and is distinctly not being played by Matthew Lillard, I don't think that's the exact direction that they're taking for the movie, but taking the core of that story, keeping Mike's brother as Golden Freddy, well, that would fit with both the timeline
Okay, I was about to
and
say, I'm like,
serve as
but
a
we already know that that's not what's happening. But I see what, okay. You could still have bits and pieces that they are making part of the movie and the lore.
devastating twist to the casual audience. It would also explain why Abby is spending so much time with Golden Freddy in the trailers. It's her spending time with a brother that she never got to know, whether she realizes it or not. It could also explain why Golden Freddy retains blue eyes when all the other animatronics have red ones. The circumstances of his possession are just a little bit different and he's interacting with a family member. So Afton attacks Mike and Vanessa for getting too close to his secrets, and despite fighting back, they ultimately lose. As they're about to die, Abby is able to win over the animatronics and use them to fight back against Afton, saving them all. You'll notice one of the oddities of the trailer is the design of Springtrap. It is different from what we see in the games. It's cleaner and it's more put together. It has not gone through all the rotten decay that we'd expect from this
Because it's
character.
Spring
I
Bonnie.
believe that's
It's not
exactly how
Springtrap.
it ends. Mike, Abby, Vanessa, and the animatronics defeat Afton by trapping him in the walls. Tying a bow on the
Then
end
he'll
of this
become
movie, while still
Springtrap.
leaving him in a position to turn into the decayed, rotten corpse that we all know and love for the eventual sequel. However, all things can't end happily here. I believe there's a good chance that the animatronics are gonna wind up getting what they want out of Abby in the end. Her name is an anagram of baby, after all, an animatronic that first appeared in FNAF's sister location. The team celebrates the defeat of Afton, only for Abby to accidentally stumble into a clown outfit, or maybe get put there by a vengeful Golden Freddy, giving us our villain and the problem to solve in the eventual second movie, saving the girl from her eternal, ceaseless torment. Or maybe that ceaseless torment is just meant for me, who is now tasked with trying to solve the timeline of this franchise across multiple channels.
Let's
Truly,
go!
the animatronics have taken another victim. But hey, that's just a
film
theory.
theory.
A film theory.
Gotta mess that up. Dang it.
And cut.
Let's go! Evil cupcakes in the house. They're gonna eat your face. Ike, I'm your father. Let me bring you in, Sauce Gang. Let me bring you in. Dude, again, so as of this recording, we got roughly like, I don't know, a month and a half-ish until the movie releases. Again, I will be doing a watch party live here on YouTube. First time I've ever done that for the movie. I'm just beyond hyped to watch it and to share that experience with you guys. You know, Fnaf for the last year and a half has been a major part of this channel, and I want to share that. But now for the theory, I liked most of it. Again, I don't think we really know what to go off of because we know the film is gonna be different from the game, from the books. It's gonna be its own universe. So yeah, we really don't know what's gonna be right and wrong. And again, they're all theories anyways, but I do think he brought up some good points. I don't really agree that the cupcake's gonna be its own soul. I think it's just Chica, and yes, it doesn't make sense, but stuff in movie. Again, these are animatronics controlled by souls of dead children. It doesn't need to make sense. But anyways, dude, I'm so happy FNAF is on film theory. Matt Pat's worst nightmare came true. But I had a blast reacting to this. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you show Matt Pat at Film Theory some love by subscribing to his channel. And if you enjoyed my reaction, please help support the channel by smashing that subscribe and like button. It's absolutely free and it greatly helps out the channel. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember, if you sleep and make beats and days, you should be kind of one to know. That's all I got. Boom, I'm out. Got below for the Sauce Gang. Peace out, champ.